Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I got another clutch of eggs today. More slugs, but not all is lost.
This is the big albino female. This year she was paired to a albino het for pied, 100% het for pied, so all the babies from this clutch will be 50% het for pied. I'll explain what 50% het means later. She must have laid these eggs in the middle of the night because I checked on her before I went to bed and I didn't see them. This morning I found her coiled around, but I had to rush to work. She obviously gained some strength back because she is holding on to these eggs really tight. She did try to strike at me last year. Thankfully, I didn't get tagged and I don't want to start this year. It's not good for her or me if she ends up biting me. After finally getting her off those eggs, I can see there are 5 eggs and 3 slugs. So I was right when I counted 8 follicles. Last year she gave me 6 eggs and 0 slugs. One of them was a Candino male that I'm holding back. The other clutch mates were all sold. I can tell right off that one is sitting a little too high for the egg box lid to close. For now, I'm going to mark them just as they are. Now, they may not be perfectly rotated to the correct orientation, but since Mom has been sitting on these for a while, I'm just going to leave them the way they are. I'll just need to pull the top one off. It's pretty well adhered there. This is going to take a little finessing to pull apart. Just have to be careful not to rip any. It helps to pull a little bit at a time evenly from all directions. Here I just insert some straws to keep them from shifting. Mainly it's to prevent the single egg that I pulled off from rolling, because it's unlikely the other 4 can roll when they're all stuck together. Then I candle them to check for veins. Oh yeah, let me explain what it means to have 50% het for some kind of recessive gene. So that brings us to the genetics portion of the video where I try to explain to you 50% het for something, right? Het for some kind of recessive gene. I'm not going to use the pairing that we just saw because that has 2 recessive genes, albino and pied. We'll keep it simple. We'll stick with albino. So the example pairing here is going to be a male, 100% het for albino. And let's say the female, keeping it simple, she's the wild type, the classic. I'm not going to use my method to do the calculations because my method only calculates for a specific morph or specific combo. Here we actually want to see all the results, all the possibilities. So I'm going to use Punnett square. Make it nice and big. Just basically 4 quadrants. I'm gonna put the father's genetics across the top. So the father up here, he's het for albino, meaning he has 1 copy of the albino gene. I'll use lowercase a to represent the albino gene. And the other one we'll just fill in with an N for normal. The female, she's the classic. That means she has no albino genes. Therefore, just leaving her with 2 normals. It's pretty easy to fill in the grid. You're just carrying anything from the top down through the columns and anything on the left across the rows. So we'll start with the A, carry these down, N, and now going across, N, and lastly the N. So if you take a look at this grid, you'll notice that on one side we have 100% het for albinos, just like the father. On the other side we have classics, just like the mother. So because this is a quadrant of 4 and 2 of these are heterozygous, you get a fraction that's 2 over 4, which reduces to 1 over 2, which if you multiply by 100 you get the percent value, and that's 50%. So basically, of a clutch of 4 eggs or 4 hatchlings, half of them, meaning 2 of them, are going to be het for albino, and then the other 2 are not. However, because a heterozygous form of albino looks exactly the same as the classic form, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. To help illustrate that a little bit further, I have 4 cards that I've just made up, and they all have the word classic on there because, like I said, all the offsprings or all the hatchlings are going to look the same. So they're all going to look classic. Now you reach your hand into that tub and you grab one and you take a DNA test, and the results come back and saying this one happens to be 100% het for albino. That's great. Put them back in the tub or back in the bin. You reach in again. Let's say you grab another one and you do a DNA test, and this one says he's just classic. So that's fine. You go back and you grab another one. DNA test says it's classic, and then you grab another one. DNA test says this one is het for albino, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again, and you keep marking them down what you got, and the end result is going to be 50% of the time, or half of the time you grab one, they're going to show up as 100% het for albino, and then the other half of the time you grab one, it's going to show up as classic. Just to put things in perspective with numbers, let's say you did this 1,000 times, you reached in 1,000 times. 500 times, you're going to grab one of these, and about 500 times, you're going to grab one of these. Back to fractions. 500 over 1,000 reduces to 1/2, which again, multiplied by 100 yields 50%. So 50% is your chance of reaching into a tub of 4 classic looking ball python hatchlings, picking one out, and ending up with one that just so happens to be 100% het for albino. So the hatchling itself is either going to be het for albino or not het for albino. Because if you think about it, it's not possible for an animal to be 12 hours a day het for albino, and then the other 12 hours a day not het for albino. So the 50% represent your chance of getting one that is het for albino. So now let me just slap a label on here so you can see the pairing once again, and the date the eggs were laid, and an approximate date to cut the eggs.
Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and to be informed of future videos, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.